we are looking at hair loss products. Who are our customers in a psychographic kind of mode? Why do they want your product? What pain does it solve?
The insecurity of taking a photo.
Bingo. Where do they hang out?
In online or offline?
Online, offline. As a
Let's go
marketer, we
online.
have to
Okay.
reach them both. Welcome to Marketing Mondays, where we bring in practical lessons and also workshops in a way to teach you how to do better marketing. Today we have Edward and also myself with you, and we're going to specifically talk about how to plan a marketing strategy for your business that brings in cash. Because let's face it, most businesses set up for revenue. You want to make money, and that's the reason why most businesses set up. It's not the other way around because you want to be a philanthropist and all that. No, it's more towards making money first, and then eventually, when you have enough of that revenue, right, then you start looking into building towards a cost. So it's always happened like this. So anyway, how do we create a marketing strategy that brings in cash? So the first thing that I want to set up is, well, marketing hasn't changed, not in the past 1,000 or 10,000 years. So humans are still the same, the behaviors are still the same. The only difference is platforms, right? So what are some platforms, Edward, if you can mention some platforms that we have today? Popular ones.
Easy. Facebook, Instagram. And I think a lot of people are slowly testing out the TikTok market. I see Shopee and Lazada, right?
So platform comes and go. Like 5 years ago, nobody have heard about TikTok. 5 years from now, maybe TikTok won't be around anymore, but people will not change. Their behaviors will still be the same. So for you as a business to do marketing and to plan out a strategy, there's only 3 questions you ask yourself. 1, who are your customers? So this is really important, because if we do not know who our customers is or who they are, it's impossible to market at them or towards them, right? And then 2, once you know your customers, then find out where do they hang out. So some people, they hang out on Facebook. Some kind of people, they hang out on Instagram. Some people hang out on LinkedIn. So there's no really the best platform to market at. Like for example, if you market to, or your customers is an audience of gamers, where do they hang out? Probably Twitch, right? They don't hang out on Facebook groups. So it doesn't make sense to go to Facebook groups to try to target gamers. Once you find out where they hang out, then how do you reach them? So this is part where messaging comes in. How do we talk to these people? How do we talk to your customers? And how do we convert them into customers? How do we reach out to them? Okay. So a lot of ad platforms and a lot of marketers, you might have learned this if you've done some marketing before, or taken some courses somewhere before. Now, you all have been taught to target people with demographics. So demographics will relate to things like age, gender, location, household income, interest, and these are basically all demographics. Now, maybe Edward, you have better way of explaining what demographics is.
So demographics is pretty simple. It's just data of the population. So how do you want to actually understand the population in terms of age, in terms of location, in terms of gender?
All right, so demographics is kind of like a simpler way, right? So simple to target. So people will go say, oh, this target, if your target is someone who is 30 years old, go and just go to Facebook ads and just target everyone who is 30 years old, has this interest and more. But we are using a strong word here called bullshit, right? But to be honest, demographics and targeting by demographics is not a good idea. And we'll show you why. Let's look at some demographics here, and assuming that we are a luxury brand, and we're trying to target people who are our customers. So this person is born in 1948, has 2 children, lives in United Kingdom, UK, is pretty wealthy, and had songs quoting them. I'm going to show you 2 figures. Let me just show you them. Okay, so the first figure is Prince Charles. He is born in 1948, he has 2 children, he lives in UK, he's wealthy, he has songs quoting him. And let's look at the second person who shares the exact same demographics as, well, the gentleman on the left here. And that is Jimmy Choo. So you might also know Jimmy Choo, right? The creator of the shoes. So he is also born in 1948, has 2 children, lives in UK, wealthy, and had songs quoting them. So these 2 persons here, they share the same demographics, but what they buy on a daily basis is totally different. Would you agree? Right? If you don't believe me with these demographics, go and Google it. You find that these facts here are all researched for. And imagine that I'm selling a luxury brand, yeah? Maybe I'm selling a Burberry. who do you think would buy the Burberry bag? Now, most of you would say Jimmy Choo would buy the Burberry bag, right? Prince Charles wouldn't. And yet, it does not make sense for a brand like Burberry to target people based on demographics, because they'll be just shooting their ads and they're marketing towards people who all share the same demographics but has very different types of purchasing wants. Does that make sense? The way to actually target people is to move from demographics into psychographics. So Edward has created 3 points here on the left. So I'll let Edward go and explain this. What is psychographics, Edward?
Psychographics, you want to understand the why, right? So you actually can break it down to these 3 simple points. Personality. So is it something loud or soft personality, or introverted, extroverted? I think that's how we want to look at it very simply. And values. What kind of values do they hold here? One of the values I can think of in the back of my head is, are they environmentally cautious? Are they thinking of how actually money in the company is being spent? Are they doing ethically? What kind of values do they hold? Are they just supporting a brand that's just in the game for making money, or are they trying to make a good impact around us? And lastly, lifestyle. What kind of consumers do you think are going to support your brand? Do you see your brand fitting into their lifestyle?
So to summarize what you have said, psychographics is basically looking at the personality, values, and also lifestyle of our ideal customer. So if you look at the earlier example, right, where we had Prince Charles and also Jimmy Choo, right? Now they may share the same demographics, but yet they have totally different personalities. They probably have totally different values, and they of course have different lifestyles. To make it easier for you to target your customers, to break it down into 3 other points, which is trigger, pain, and goals. So there's really these 3 points you should think about when targeting your customer. All right, what triggers them? What are their pains? And what are their goals? So here's how we target based on psychographics. So triggers. What made your customers say, I want to make a certain progress in my life right now? And it's very important. Why right now? Yeah, because it's that decision right now that makes them want to buy something and commit into purchasing a service or product. What is a pain? What are the pains stopping them from achieving something, and therefore they need a certain product or service? All right. What are the goals? What progress do they want? What are their functional, social, and emotional goals? So when a lot of people preach and say, oh, businesses are out there to solve problems, they normally think very linearly. They think about the immediate problems, functional problems. But in fact, the reason why someone buys a luxury product is not because they want to solve a functional problem. That's more of a social and emotional type of problem that you're trying to solve, right? So think about the types of goals that most people have. It's not always just functional. It's sometimes social. It's sometimes peer pressure. It's sometimes very emotional as well. So to make that simpler for you, we've also came out with a quick statement here. So based on triggers, pains, and also goal. Now, this is how we profile the psychographics of our customers. So first of all, when a trigger happens, I want to solve a certain pain so I can get to my goals, right? So let me tell you a quick story about why I bought the camera that I just bought a few months back. Okay, so this came when I was watching Gary Vee. You know Gary Vee, right, Edward?
Definitely, love him.
Okay, all right. So when I was watching Gary Vee, and Gary was like rising up to fame, right? He has a lot of videos on Instagram. He has a lot of videos on YouTube. So when I watch Gary Vee on YouTube, that's the trigger. Yeah, it triggers what I'm thinking in my mind. I want to get the same kind of engagements and also the likes in him. Obviously, we're not there yet. The reason I want that, right? I just want to solve that pain is so that I can look like a business leader and feel better about myself. So it's more of an emotional goal that I want to get out of this statement here. And therefore, I noticed that Gary Vee has this team using a lot of these, video cameras. And I suppose, maybe because his video looks so good, and maybe because they use the particular camera, that is why, that's why they get the view, right? That's why the video is good. And I want to do that as well. So you see, this brings me into a purchasing decision. I decide to buy a camera because I am copying and based on my emotional, right? What I see, the trigger that happens when I watch something like Gary Vee. It's not because I am 30 years old, I live in PJ, it's not because of demographics, it's because of psychographics, right? It's because of the values, it's because of the lifestyle changes I want and all that kind of thing, right? So when targeting customers, we have to turn from demographics into psychographics to really hit into our customers. And that brings me to a quick case study. So let's say we want to sell a hair loss product. Yeah, I don't know why we chose this for this session, a hair loss product. Obviously, both of us has no hair loss problem, but let's talk about selling a hair loss product. Okay, and let's just take a quick example. And this picture here is just for example purpose only. I mean, this is not the product we're selling, but let's say we're selling a hair loss product and our target are mostly men. I'm going to show you a quick framework that we have. So this is the growth marketing framework that is taught in Growth Marketing 360, our course at LEAD. And if you ever want to actually do better marketing, I would strongly suggest you take a look at Growth Marketing 360. That's our complete program in digital marketing that covers more than just digital marketing. So anyway, there's a few steps to the framework here. If you look at the bottom, we have targeted users, landing page formula, locating our users, track everything, brand promise, and also creating a funnel plan strategy. But today we're going to look at this three. Yeah, coming back to our marketing question: who are your customers? Where are they? Right, and how do you reach them? That's messaging. We are looking at hair loss products. All right, so who are our customers? I'm going to delete all this off again and start from scratch. So who are our customers in a psychographic kind of mode?
People who
Everybody got ideas?
are insecure about hair loss.
Okay, let's go zoom to men. Yeah, men. Maybe experiencing hair loss. Okay, experiencing hair loss. So it really helps when you actually write this down and think about your customers, because if you don't write this down, you probably won't think about customers. You just go to all these platforms and try to target people out of nothing. So it really helps you when you think about your customers. How old are they when they start receiving hair loss problems? I know we are doing some demographics here,
40s.
but let's just put the numbers. 40s maybe, okay, 40s,
Yeah.
hair loss, 40s quite mature. Okay, what are their needs? Yeah, regain their hair maybe, right? Regain their hair.
Maybe grow back their hairline. Yeah.
Grow back their hairline, yeah.
Grow back their hairline. Yeah.
So they can put some wax again.
Yes.
And style their hair again. All right, go back to the hair salon again. So there's so many needs that we can put out, right? Of course, as a business, if we are in the business of selling hair loss products, we really have to go and profile our customers. We can't just guess it out. But right now, we're just doing a practice, so we're guessing some things out. And I think we're quite near to that, right? Okay, so experiencing hair loss, regain their hair, okay? Now, why do they want our product or your product? If you're a hair loss company, why do they want your product? What pain does it solve?
The insecurity of taking a photo.
Bingo. So curiosity of taking photos. Maybe during in business meetings, although they are very powerful in a very powerful situation position, but because of the hair loss, they kind of feel insecure. They don't feel confident. Maybe lack of confidence, right? So lack of confidence, lack of game, no game. Hair loss is a serious problem, by the way. Yeah, I think it's got to be some with what we eat every day, especially in Malaysia. So anyway, they want a product because they have insecurities of taking photos and the lack of confidence. And this is how we basically map out our customers, right? Based on psychographics. And we're not really doing much demographics. We're not doing like, okay, where our customers are they living in Subang? Are they living in KL or Malacca? We're not doing any of that. We're talking about why they want our product. All right, so with this framework here, which you're going to share a link down in the bottom of the description, so you can actually take this and do it for yourself. But ideally, you want to actually fill up the lines here and profile your customers 1, 2, 3. And as you do this, it gets clearer and clearer who your customers are. So now let's assume we have profiled our customers and our ideal customer is men. They want to regain their hair because of insecurity of taking photos, lack of confidence. All right. So assuming these are customers, where do they hang out? I'm going to pass this back to Edward. Where do they hang out?
In online or offline?
Online, offline. As a marketer, we have to reach them both. We can do it online, simpler.
Online, I would say Facebook. Facebook is very popular amongst like the boomer generation. I'll start with
Facebook.
That's all I have.
So let's say these people, they use Facebook, right? And I'm going to put down Facebook here. So we go into the locate our users tab. This is the third part of the framework. And look at where do our users lie? Where do they actually hang out at? So you might say, okay, maybe they hang out at Facebook. Now, what to someone who is having a hair loss problem? What would he do? Maybe he will use Google to search for some ideas on how to regain hair. Okay, let's just say Google. Yeah, I'm gonna type here Google. So if they use Google, what are they typing into the search engines?
Solving hair loss problems.
Okay,
How to solve.
solving hair loss problems. We're just doing guessing here. Of course, using tools, we can actually get down further and to look at the problems here. Solving hair loss problems. What else did they search
Causes
for?
of hair loss.
Causes for hair loss, a good one. Yeah, causes for hair loss, right? If we have a problem, we probably search out the problem and find out a solution for it. Causes for hair loss. Maybe they find out food to regain hair. I don't know if they do that, but maybe.
Or
Yeah,
exercise,
maybe.
massage techniques to stimulate hair growth.
Yeah, maybe massage techniques. Okay, massage techniques. I don't know. All the weird stuff that people must Google for. All right, so that's one of it, Google. Now the question is, if we know our users are doing a lot of Googling for their problems, can we do SEO to get a website rank for it? Can we actually run Google Ads to show our products when they search for it? So do you see how we're connecting the dots here from identifying who our customer is, and now we find out where they hang out, and then we show up at where they are. You see how this framework is so simple, yet it's always often overlooked, right? And people just ask, what's the best platform? Well, it depends on your customer. Okay, let's maybe do one or two more other platforms. Do they hang out on YouTube? Maybe they hang out on YouTube. Someone who is having a hair loss problem probably goes to YouTube to look for maybe videos on
Product reviews.
hair loss problems.
Yeah.
Or exercises, techniques. I don't know. I mean, we're just doing some profiling here. Okay, so let's say YouTube also has people. I mean, maybe your customers are also going to YouTube to search for their problems. That would be a great platform for you to go and look at. Now, in this case, Twitter might not be a very good place to target people who is having hair loss problems, right? Because that does not trigger them from, I don't know, looking at all these kind of products. Now, we talk about triggers as well, right? Now, maybe some of our customers are, business people. Maybe they go to conferences. And when they go to conferences, when they see another business leader, right, speaking on stage or in a video, then it triggers them. Oh, that guy looks good. I need to get, hair back on my head, right? So can we reach out to them when they are hanging out at those places? So what are some conferences online if they're watching, right? What are some places do they go? Now, from here, we'll map out all the places that our customers would actually hang out at. And that's how we find out the platform where they hang out at, right? Does that make sense, Edward?
Definitely.
Okay.
I can imagine.
All right. So this will take some time, but we're just rushing through this thing because you don't waste of time. And just to give you the framework for you to go through looking at your customers and where they hang out. So the next question is then, how do we reach them? There's so many ways to reach them depending on the platform that you have identified your users on. But let's just say for us, it's really, really simple. We are looking at Google, right? So with Google, how do we reach out to them when they're searching for this? Okay. Now to do this, what we do is we go into messaging. So with Google, it's easy. We show up with an SEO technique, basically ranking our site when someone search for a particular keyword or using buying keywords, buying ads to show up our site when they search for. But what's really important is the messaging. So the messaging is how you differentiate your products and services, your company, your business, compared to the other people. So here it's really simple. We break it down to just 2 points: our unique selling point and also the brand promise. All right, so let's pull back a little bit. We are selling hair loss products, right? Now, what is our unique selling point and what's our brand promise? Let's just create something fictional right now.
Smells extra minty with cold water.
Okay, let's get a bit more creative, yeah? So unique selling point, let's think about on the level of other hair loss products as well. So hair loss products, unique selling point, maybe others you have to use every single day, okay? For our product, you only use once a week. Yeah, that could be a unique selling point. And what's our brand promise? What is the promise of our brand, our hair loss product?
You grow 1 centimeter of 1 single patch of hair every time you use it.
Every time you use it, okay. This sounds a bit fictional, but then let's play along with it. So our unique selling point is you only need to use once a week, and the promise is you regain 1 cm of hair every time you use it, right? So now the messaging becomes so important, right? So imagine that someone is, when we go back to locating our users, someone is Googling for, let's say, solving hair loss problems or how to solve my hair loss problems. And then we come up with an ad or an article that says, how would you like to regain 1 cm of hair every time you use this hair loss product? And all you have to do is use once a week. Do you see how we're using our messaging into that landing page, that website that we're going to about to show? So this is just one example, right? And this is even made up unique selling point and brand promise. For the sake of it, maybe let's try to do one more unique selling point and one more brand promise. So what other ideas do you have?
Let's go back to my previous example, right? It's the mintiest. So you use it in the morning, right?
Use it in the morning. All right, so let's turn that into a stronger unique selling point compared to other competitors. Okay, I've got one. Maybe it's very discreet because hair loss is a very some people to some people it's a very shy thing. They want to talk about it, so it's very discreet. It's very small. You don't have to show it in front. You don't have to put a very large bottle somewhere in your room. Let's say you're still dating someone doesn't have to see that bottle in your room. I don't know. It could be discreet, right? And the brand promise is, let's come up with another brand promise.
No one will find out.
No one will find out. No one would even know that you're using a hair loss product. Something simple then, okay? So with these points that we have here, now it becomes so much easier to put down the exact words of what people are actually what connects to our customers. Again, we are making all these things up. In the real world, we would have to do a bit of research, see the particular words that our customers are using in order to be able to put a very, a good messaging that connects to our customers, right? Let's just say it's true that our customers, our best customers would want something discreet, right? Our landing page, our website can come up with a headline that says, for example, no one would even know that using a hair loss product and your hair will regain 1 cm every time you use this discrete product. Here's what it is. It could be something like that, right? Now, if you're wondering, how do we look for the real words that people use for customers? That really depends. But two things I can share you today is one, to go into somewhere like Quora. Okay, so with Quora, the people asking questions, the people answering them, and we basically want to look at the words, the words that they say, so we can use their words back at them. So we can just go and search for hair loss products or hair loss tips. Try to find out what people are talking about and what are the words they say. All right, so I can see one here already, and this is all done on the go, right? So do you see how this person is asking using the words, how do I reduce hair loss problems naturally? So I think a lot of people, they are probably afraid of using artificial products that has a lot of side effects. So maybe from doing a quick little research here, maybe our unique selling point can be it's natural, right? Contains no harmful chemicals. And the brand promise is, I don't know.
No side effects.
No side effects. Yeah, no side effects. We are animal, test-free, and etc. Right? Now, this point here is taken from a real someone asking questions. So we're using the exact words that customers are using. So when we use these exact words on our website, on our ads, customers will open their eye up because it sounds like them talking, right? Does that make sense? So recap. All you really want to do is, number one, find out who your customers are, right? And try not to go by demographics, try target based on psychographics. Think about psychographically who they are. Next, we want to locate our users. Where do they hang out at? Where do they spend their time on? Okay. Once we found out that, then we go into messaging, which is, well, what's our unique selling point and what's our brand promise? How do we reach out to these people using the most accurate messaging ever? All right. And that's basically your marketing strategy in a quick nutshell. Edward, anything else to add on before we end?
If there's one lesson to take away, is that understand your customers. we always want to find the easy way out. And
Mm-hmm.
I think over time that method doesn't work anymore. So we need to actually
Mm-hmm.
do our research and dig deep to understand why. That's all for me. Thanks, Ruben.
All right, and there you go. So we'll place down the links to this video in the section in the description below. You can find them and especially find the link to this growth marketing framework. It's so simple and yet it will be very powerful when you start putting down this, all these things down into writing. You begin to see how easy it is to actually locate your customers, find out where they hang out, and reach out to them. So with this, good luck. We'll see you the next upcoming Marketing Mondays. And if you have questions and comments, put them down in the comment section. We'd love to hear from you and see you next time. Bye-bye for now. Hey, and welcome to this channel. My name is Ruben, Head of Marketing at Lead. On this channel, you'll find content, tips, guides, and also tutorials on data science, web development, and digital marketing. Make sure to subscribe, and we'll see you in the videos, content, and workshops, courses to come. Thanks again.